Alright, so these are the filters after I've sprayed them with really hot water and got stuff off of them. Our problem is this is leaking water down the wall. So we've got this in the kitchen because the air conditioning is not adequate in here. And it's pretty bad. The grease is really bad. So it's obviously gotten into the coil and something's causing the drain to be plugged up, so we're going to have to yank this thing apart. You see our blower wheels all matted full of crap, which no surprise there. So yeah, just wonderful. Okay, you can see it's spilling all over the place, but literally it's get the fryers right over there. So it's leaking right off the edge here. So we're just going to disassemble this thing. So that's completely plugged up. I don't think it's anything to do with being level. I would say that grease has probably plugged up the drain line, most likely. Looks just like the Linux one I did not too long ago. I think all this crap came out. I'm going to go ahead and yank that plug and drain that out, and then we'll worry about it, but it sure looks like it's leaning to the left. Alright, so you can see what kind of stuff's in the pan there. That's mainly grease. Probably some growth in there too. It's not even the side that normally drains, but we did that so we could get it emptied out so we can actually get started working on this thing. Alright, so I was able to get that undone. You could see a lot of nasty crap in there. Oh yeah, you can see it all up in that hole. So the nice thing about this one, the drain comes off pretty easy. Got one screw there and then a little bracket for the electrical that didn't need to be there. And then this wheel will pop out here in a little bit. But I mean, you can see it's just packed to the max. So we're gonna take that out and wash it out real good. Gonna get this pan. I mean, the quick fix would have been just blow out the drain line maybe, but you would have been back for so many things. That's a wrapper right there. However that got up there, it probably sucked it in, is what I'm assuming. Holy crap. I think it's a wrapper. Yeah, something. I don't know what it is. Nasty, whatever it is. Have to wash that all out. So far, we went through and completely scrubbed it out. Got all this crud out. Scrubbed the panels here, back and forth. Just got to do one more spot. Got to be careful not to get the motors in there wet, otherwise you're going to have problems. And definitely don't want to get nothing into the wiring harness. You'll have corrosion once the electricity starts flowing through it. So just got to get this last spot right here, and then we'll be good to get to the wheel next. We're going to break all this heavy stuff loose, and then we'll have to scrub it out with the rags. This hasn't been done probably in a long time, if ever. I believe this was installed a year or two ago. I forget exactly when. 13-19, so looks to me like it was about a year or two ago. Imagine that. Alright, so a little bit of degreaser on there goes a long way. Got all the cracks and crevices and all that cleaned up. One of the employees tripped over it, just ran into it and broke that there and broke that there. Anyhow, got that piece clean. Gotta get the blower wheel out now. Alright, so we went ahead and got the end piece off. That's just held in place right there. And there is a Phillips screw that you need to release right there. So we're going to go ahead and remove that, and then we'll yank that off. We'll clean it out. This here, we'll probably just spray it with some grease in place and then rinse it off. I don't have that bib thing. We don't do that many mini splits. Now, I would say that bib thing, although it would make it kind of nice, you wouldn't be able to get the top and all that stuff still clean. This by far is hellaciously faster than the freaking Mitsubishi, I think. I'm not sure who makes it. It looks like another clone of Mitsubishi. But just having a Phillips screw there instead of a set key that you can't hardly reach or get to, just brain dead. Simplistic. Makes it so simple. So we're going to let this thing soak in there for a little bit. And then go ahead and start spraying that thing off. We'll get both sides kind of soaking in there. Sometimes you're just a glorified janitor. So get her done. Alright, so we went ahead and cleaned out the sinks for him because it was pretty bad. I was able to put this up here and hold it with one finger while it spun like that, which was kind of cool. But we got her clean. Unfortunately, this is going to have to be done every year or two. It's just one of them things. I mean, they just don't have adequate cooling in the kitchen, and this was obviously the less expensive option, so it works, but it gets a beating, that's for sure. Alright, so we went ahead and took the electronics out of there so that we could do this. Sprayed her down, got all the crap out of it, and basically that'll all rinse out. We went ahead and scrubbed it a little bit in advance. This is the front cover here. Alright, so it's still stained looking, but all the dirt's off of it. I was able to use my rag that's soaked with degreaser, wipe it down, break it loose, and then cleaned all this crud out from in here. So this thing should be almost like new again. And then just finish wiping down the walls and stuff, because this is just a mess. You know, like I said, the only thing that's going to suck is this is going to happen again in short order. So, but one of those bib things, I don't know, we might even have one at our other shop. I'll have to ask. Either way, my feeling is we need to bill it to them and just buy one for this particular location and just bill them for it. So it needs to be done. For right now, it cleaned up pretty good. The filters caught most of the crap. I guess that's one benefit of not washing the filters. Nothing gets through, including air. So, all right, let's start assembling this thing. I did just get a new level today. Stable, made in Germany. It's supposed to be super accurate, yet it's really tiny. Let's see if this thing is level. It's hard to tell. Yeah, it definitely ain't perfect, that's for certain. It'd be nice if it was a little higher on the side that it was draining over to. Of course, if I remember right, that pan, I think, may loop or lean to the other side. I might have to yank this thing off and see if I can raise it a little higher on the left. Alright, so we got that piece there locked in, and this comes on behind it. I've got the set screw there in place, and I made sure my gappings are fine here, and she spins freely. So pop this coil in, and then we're going to get the drain in there. So I've got this one here all cleaned out, ready to go. We got the right side open. Went ahead and blew out the drain line. Got everything out of that. We're going to snap this thing back into place. I'll be honest with you, I think this thing comes apart and serviceable a lot better than the Mitsubishi. I'll have to look in to see who actually built it, but I mean, I've already had a Linux unit look just like this thing, and it had a leak there in the coil. Actually, it was up here on top. It was, use it in my example for the G-Tech Stratus. But yeah, we'll get this into place here, and then we're going to see how level the drain pan is, because honestly, that's the most important. Same thing with the coil. The coil itself is level from what I checked there. When you look at the coil there, I mean, that's just, it's a 1/16 of an inch if you're maybe at that. So it's it was Tapconned in the back here with some brackets, and so it's, although it maybe lean a little bit forward because of the plastic, the bracket itself isn't moved. So if it's worked before, it should work again. Our biggest problem was we plugged up in that drain line from all this gunk. So we'll get this going. Alright, so we had to hook this little piece here, got that screw into place, and then that little piece there, and there, all just kind of wedged in between, and the plastic holded it against the coil. Boom, she just kind of holds in place there. That's pretty simple. And now we just got to hook up our oscillating motor here to this plug that had a little prong on the back side. You just have to squeeze to undo it. Get that back on there. Gotta be careful. So now all we gotta do is get on the shell on top and get this piece here back on. That right there is the insulation for the bottom of the pan. And when you look at it, it's leaning towards that way, to the right, which is where my drain's at, which is good. It's either level or to the right. So we are good. See, and our pan exits out over here. So everything's back together. Just had 3 screws here, and then it locks onto the top. And then now we got to hook on the front door piece right here and plug it into the wiring harness. I'll have a link for this down below if you guys want to support the channel along with any of the other tools they use. This can hook on your belt. So you got a magnet on the bottom and the side, and when it's on your belt you just put it there like that and then locks into place. It's nice and small. So I got up here my top thing, which I had it reversed around, but that works really good there along with my cutter. Yeah, you can see the cold air coming out here. The humidity's so high, it just literally is putting it out. It's kind of crazy. So it's back together and it's running. There you can kind of see it. Oh well, it's blowing cold air, and the drain line comes through the wall and goes into a big PVC pipe, which is right here, comes through, and then down to the floor drain. So it's not the drain that was plugged there. It was definitely at the coil section. I mean, a little spout there, but it should be good now for maybe a year or so. We'll see. I'm going to call them and let them know what I did and that it needs on a regular maintenance procedure, and see whether it gets done or not. If you guys like the video and you want to see more like it, make sure you do what you got to do. If you want to check us out on Facebook, we're at HVACR Survival. And until next time, we will catch you guys on the next one.